that today the topic is memory allocations to the work process, how the memory will be allocated. So depending upon the work process type, either dialogue and non-dialogue. So dialogue work process, we have dialogue. Non-dialogue work process means what are the non-dialogue work process? So we have the two types of work process, right? So we have the five, but we have separated as a dialogue and non-dialogue. So dialogue means only dialogue work process. Non-dialogue means VTC, update, okay, gateway, spool. So this and all the message server and key server comes under the non-dialogue, right? So dialogue means only dialogue work process here, right? So depending upon the work process type and the underlying operating system, the memory allocations, mainly it will base on the type of the work process and the type of the operating systems. These two, why? Because here Windows and AX is one side and the remaining operating systems are one side here, right? So Windows operating system and non-Windows operating systems, IBM, Unix, IBM, so like Unix, Linux, IBM. So this kind of things are the different procedure, and Windows and Linux is the different procedure here, right? So then here the SAP memory management decide internal mechanism. This is the internal mechanism will happen sequence, sequence wise. The work process allocate the memory areas from the extended memory, then private memory here, prime memory. In order to process your request, the work process, the work process allocate the memory from extended memory and then private memory here, extended memory and private memory here. So that is the two memory areas here. We have previously role memory, extended memory. So a lot of things are role memory. So extended memory, there are a lot of things are there here. But now SAP memory management got changed now. So we have only two major memory areas which work process allocate the memory areas from extended memory and role memory in the role memory. In order to process your request, these two memory areas will be allocated here. One is the EM and prime mode here. E means so extended memory, then private memory here, private memory here, right? So there is a differences. Dialogue work process is different, non-dialogue work process is different here. Dialogue and non-dialogue work process is different here, right? So suppose, so let's talk about the dialogue work process here, right? So dialogue work process. So the dialogue work process, how it will be allocated, the dialogue work process here. Suppose here we will separate the two ways here. One is the Windows, one is the non-Windows here. Windows and non-Windows here. Suppose like it's a Windows. The Windows, the first in the Windows system, first extended memory, then extended memory. The EM means the extended memory allocates, extended memory will allocates, and then second one, the primary, it will light file directly, it will go to the private memory here, right? So sequence will be decided here, right? External memory and private memory, it will be allocated here. So when it goes to the, this is for the Windows and AIX operating systems here. So when it go to the Linux operating systems here, when it go to the Unix, the Linux, then so this type of operating systems also the first extended memory, then the second one is called the extended memory and private memory, right? So for dialog work process, either Windows or non-Windows. So the allocation is common. The memory allocation is common. First, it will go to the extended memory. If the extended memory is not enough through, then what will happen? It will go to the private memory. It will go to the private memory here. It will go to the private memory here. So that will happen here. So then next one. So this is for the dialogue. This is for the dialogue work process here. So dialogue work process, either Windows or non-Windows, it will use the this much of memory here. Suppose if I talk about the non-dialog work process here. If I talk about the non-dialog work process here, right? So if we talk about the non-dialog work process, if I talk about the non-dialog work process, so non-dialog work process, the Windows level, Windows or AX, the allocation memory is like a same. Windows level, any work process, it will use the same memory areas. It will use it here. The only the difference, only the difference is like a, only the difference is like a. So if it is the non-Windows, so suppose like if it is the non-Windows, so then that is the, it is the reverse order. Like first it will occupy the private memory, then second it will occupy the extended memory here. This is for the, so this is for the Linux, this is for the Linux Unix operating systems. This is the memory allocation. This is the non-dialog work process. So this is for the non-dialog work process here, non-dialog work process here. So if someone asks you, can you tell me the memory allocation sequence in memory management, how the memory allocation will memory allocation will happens to the work process like that. So for dialog, common either Windows or Linux, it's common. So but non-dialog means what are the process will come into the picture. Background work process, update and spool, which will come as a non-dialog work process. Then here, so here the Windows level common, only the Linux level, it's a reverse order. Reverse order, the memory allocation will happen here. Reverse order, the memory allocation will happen here in the reverse order here, right? Reverse order, the memory allocation will happen. So let's talk about the sequence. So you see sequence here, what will happen here? The allocation sequence for dialog and non-dialog work process. First, the directly the extended memory, then private memory here, extended memory and private memory here. Unlike on other operating systems, all work process types like dialog, update, background, and spool, the user context. So it will allocate memory for user context of user session. Whenever the user log into the session, user log into the system, there is a session. For that session, there is a user context, right? User context. The sequence is same. Sequence is same. Extended memory, the private memory, the sequence is same here. Extended memory, then followed by the, this is a sequence wise. The sequence wise for the Windows, suppose if you see the Windows, for either dialog or non-dialog, the sequence is same. First extended memory, then private memory. Extended memory, private memory. These are the voice level memory areas here. For the SAP will reserve it here. Right? Sequence is same. So either user context, the sequence is same here. So extended memory. So here, if I talk about the little bit more about the extended memory is available to work process until so maximum quota. So there is a parameter. There how much like it is occupied means there is a parameter for the extended memory. That parameter is called the so JTTA slash roll underscore the extension. Roll underscore extension here. Roll underscore extension here. So this is the EM limit, like extended memory limit here. So for individual work process also we can set it out. That is the total, and individual also we can set it out here. Individual also for individual, for dialogues and non-dialogues also we can set like, so for the dialogue, we can see like underscore DIA. For the non-dialogues we can set like, so there is a parameter which will limit the non-DIA. This means so non-DIA here, which means here the work process allocation sequence which controls these parameters here. The quota limit is reached this one. For the individual also we can set it out this one here. Once the quota of EM has been reached either 2 GB or 4 GB, then work process allocates the private memory, heap memory. That is called the private memory, also called the heap memory here. Private memory means the private memory, also called the heap memory here. The private also called the heap memory here. If the total size of the the total size of the EM is completely used, total size means entire extended memory is used, then only the private memory is assigned to the work process. If the total private memory is used, then your program is terminated. There is a short dumps, you will get it out. There is a dumps, you will get it out here. There is a dumps, you will get it out here, which means if the total size of the EM is completely occupied, then only it will go to the private memory. The private memory is assigned to the work process. When the private memory is using, when the private memory is using here, there is a above slash heap area, above slash heap area total. This will control the your total private memory here is used. So when the work process total private memory is used, the if any programs, above programs or anything is running, that will be terminated. Either the short dumps is created. A dump is a it is a protection mechanism for the individual users to check from entire memory. All those things we can see it here. That is called the that is the so means each and every memory areas it will be controlled by the parameter. Heap area total, that is called the total heap area. So heap area dia, heap area non-dia. This is the total, and also we have the this is also for the individual work process. Suppose I want to only control for the dialog work process, then heap area dia, then heap area non-dia. Non-dia means non-dialog work process. So this is for the individually if you want to assign it here, right? That is the one here. The parameter means each and everything it will be controlled by the our each and everything it will be controlled by the our memory parameters here. Memory parameters here. The only the allocation sequence for the dialog work process. So whenever hello. Okay. So the dialog work processor responsible processing the normally user request, right? So then user context is switched frequently. The user is used whenever user is logging in, it will validate the user context. Then user context is switched frequently, which is possible in extended memory for dialog. First allocate the memory and everything here, EM. So then heap memory. Heap memory quota is reached, delete heap memory. Heap memory is out of then private memory. The private memory means so the extended memory is done, then private memory is allocates to the memory. Private memory will extend it to the memory here. There is a parameters that will control the, so this all those things it will control it here. All those things it will control the, so like there is a parameters which will control the this information, right? So here we can, so here the mainly you should know about the heap memory here. Heap memory, which means the private memory here. So each and every memory area, there is a controlled by the parameters, right? Extended memory, these parameters, heap memory, these parameters will be controlled where we have to change the parameters means in, so RG10, RG11, we can change it here. So little bit more about the private memory here. Private memory. Private memory contains the what the private memory contains. Private memory contains data from the user context. The data from user context. And that user context is bound to the work process within the user session. Whenever user logins, it will assign the one session. One session is created that will validate your session in the user context. So that user context means the private memory contains data from the user context. It is bound to the work process within a user session is being executed. So when a work process allocates the private memory, it cannot process any other user context. Means so it will be a memory. When the private memory also is going to out, which means we have the memory issues in the systems. So that is the main thing here. So when the memory is allocated, when the memory area is allocated from the private memory, the work process is reserved for processing the user context until the context releases the when the context releases the work process. When the user session ends, then the memory will be released. The user session is not ending, still work process holds the user context and the memory, everything work process will hold it here, right? So this is the this is where the work process will allocate it here. This is the way work process is allocated. Once the private memory has been allocated, the work process will runs on the private mode. Then the private mode, it will prevent work process, the user context being unmapped from the work process. Suppose example, when the user become inactive, then the use of the private memory leads to the exclusive occupancy of the dialogue work process, right? Until the end of the session, currently session, then that will be released here. That's why whenever the system work process goes to the private memory, then system will go down status, dead status here. Why? Because all the memory is fully used. So no other free memory allocation is available. So it will be used here. So that is the reason. So we can terminating the work process like SAP in the memory management. There is a so instead of going to very deeply, you will get confused in the memory management side. Instead of going deeply, the mechanism that so any non-active work process are in the private mode that will be terminated by the memory management. Non-active means someone not active but session is opened, that will be terminated. When the work process in the private mode, the user session is not in the active, that will be terminated. So this mechanism is to prevent the blocking the work process. Therefore, so we can avoid the performance issues in the system here, right? We can avoid the performance issues in the system. So like which means there is a parameter r disk slash max prime time, which is the maximum time of work process can stay in the private mode. Normally, the default is 0, which means it's runtime infinitely in the private mode. If you set the timelines, then so if the any work process in the private mode after 10 minutes, after 600 minutes, after 600 seconds, that will be terminated automatically here. Then we can avoid the so this type of issues and everything here, right? So that is the so which means we can also if you set that parameter, when the work process in the private mode, you are in the system is in the dangerous status here. Anytime it will go down status. That is the reason what we have to do. We need to so set the prime mode parameters and everything here. The default it is the so 0, which means infinitely it will run it. But if you set the timelines 10 minutes, when the work process comes to the so private mode, 10 minutes it will run. You set the 600 seconds. Then after that, it will be cancelled, terminated automatically. So this way, the memory allocation will happen in the systems here. Memory allocation will happen in the so systems here. Okay, so that is the memory allocation. So previously we have the role memory and all those things are there. Role memory, external memory, role in, role in. So those now it is not there. So we have the latest memory technologies like zero memory management. These technologies are SAP introduced in the latest versions. So that so no need to much worry about the memory management and parameters in the latest kernels. It will control the system memories and everything here, right? Only thing is you need to remember the heap memory and private memory. When the workflow go to the private mode means heap memory is over, then private memory. When the system is in the private memory, so if any programs or anything that will be cancelled, only user sessions will be not released here. So that we have to check it out and we have to fix it as part of our day-to-day monitoring. The first we need to check the so if any work process in the private mode or not, we need to check it out, right? First task is our, as soon as you got the access, then if we go to the SM50, we have to check the any work process or is in the private memory or not. So if the private memory, then definitely there is a memory issues that we need to check it out here in the systems. So see here, In the production, we have the dumps are occurring in the systems in the production. So yesterday there were 20 dumps. So time zone related things. Okay. Okay. This is about the memory management. Okay. This is about the memory management. Okay. So I think small concept, just you can prepare it. So Monday we'll